Hello everyone. How are we all doing today? If it would like to let me load up a thumbnail. We'll save that. Hello everyone! How are you all doing today? Can someone check if thumbnail's up for me, please? Would be much appreciated. Alright then. Nearly ready to start full grid today, it seems. We've got everyone here. See, how's stream going? Alright. Hello, hello, hello! Hello Helix, hello Brand, hello, hello, hello. Hello everyone, how are you all doing today? My name's Ninan. And I'm knackered, I've just done a 2-hour stint for Try Drive. In a different league, it was a complete joke. Don't know where we finished. Just have a look at the results from the survey. And how that's going so far. Because if you don't know, we put a survey up on our Discord, so all of the drivers to fill out their ideas and stuff. That's not what I wanted to see. That's helpful. Anyway, I've had Wi-Fi issues, hopefully I won't disconnect again. We'll be ready to go. Just a minute, let's make sure everyone's ready. Predictions for today, everyone. What's your predictions? Who's your thoughts? Who's gonna win? I'm sure I've shared the stream out. Maybe tripping. It is in the Discord, isn't it? It's UMF's home race as well. This is going to be an interesting one. I mean, it's being slow. No one wants to watch. Get the viewers up quickly. It's quite annoying just doing this for nothing. Oh, what the fuck is that? Alright, we're ready. Let's hope then we won't have to restart round 5 of the GTEL Division 2 Championship. Who's this, Mr. Mount? Oh, wonderful. We've only just started. This is a big lobby restart. It's a few people we've had. That did not last long. Sorry for delays. We will have it sorted in just a second. People's internet decided not to work. So, sorry for the technical difficulties. I think the server really didn't want to work then. We had a few people wanting to quite literally take it for a spin. Anyway. Take 2. Predictions for today. Yesterday was quite a boring race. Div 2. Ooh. Casey's filling in over at BRT. Maybe BRT can get something done. It'd be nice. That's Phil sorting something out. Casey, I can see Casey. I hope Casey does well. Casey ran really well last time out. He's got a different car though. Casey's had. I mean, Casey's season so far, he's not got points in any of them. He's the most experienced driver in GTL, he's not missed a single race, and he's done some races in other divisions as well, subbing in. So he has done the most races, and this season, he's not scored points in any race. He's a good driver, he's a quick driver, it's a bit of a shame that he's struggling. Hopefully today, though, maybe a bit of redemption, carry some momentum in tomorrow and get a bit of practice under his belt. The UMF boys, though, they're going to try and follow foot of the SVV boys with their 1-2. The first ever 1-2 finish last week at Maggiore for SVV. Their home race as well over at Italy. Now UMF's home race at Germany. Can they get their 1-2? There's been a 1-2 before in Division 2, obviously. Can-Am used to do it quite a lot. Including at their home race in America as well. Mama Strike, Maysto, Mr. Mount. All quick drivers. Alfa Pino, he's also filling in for Diaz. Paolo. And nothing's so interesting to see what livery he's got. Brand J, he's going to have a better. He's going to have to pick it up. The BNR boys, not the best so far. Anyway, oh, excuse me. If my throat would like to clear itself. Are we almost ready? Who are we missing? Cheers, Phil. Very helpful. Phil, I don't think Phil's scored points so far either. Something he's gonna have to work on. Just thinking, what else? Anyway. There's Phil loaded on. Just ping Phil to let him know it's already up. Predictions for qualifying. I've got no clue. I'm going into this blind. Let's make sure everyone's ready. Whoa, UMF. It's going to be one of the UMFs on pole. That's all I can say. No name last weekend seemed to struggle a fair bit. He seemed like he had to be in the slipstream to sort of keep up. It was a bit here and there, a bit slowish. I'm sure he will bounce back though. Gossau, he's back today. Gossau, expect him to be around the points. BBR Huber, best result ever in GTL, expect him to do something of some note as well. So, just a few practice grid starts. A few practice starts going on there, and we'll be in. Let's see. If it doesn't work this time, well, any problems now go as a DNS. So I hope your internet's working. Never mind. It's everyone. What's going on? Oh no, they're out. They got out. I think everyone. A few people have problems. Is anyone actually still continuously spinning? So a few people were still able to get out, knock and bolt. So yeah, I think despite the problems, everyone was able to continue. Just knock and bolt's yet to leave the pit lane. Let's hope he gets away nicely, and it is. So good, and Bran J had left. Well. There's a bit of a kerfuffle at the back. We saw this yesterday where there was a bit of squabbling for position. Cost some people the race win. There's an awful honk with a he's had some nice looking liveries, and now this one's a bit lackluster. No, we're not restarting. We do one restart now. Any more problems and it's a DNS. An awful honk starting on the medium, so he'll be into the pits. But don't worry, having a go at me. I've literally said many times, we restart once, second time, doesn't matter. It fixed itself as well, everyone had the problem. You can disconnect the game, but we only restart once. I've also said I'm not doing that again if people make mistakes, so I've literally said many times, if you disconnect, you have any problems, don't get mad, but he needs to sort his own internet. It's not my fault his internet can't control itself. Anyway, back to the racing. Nickname Alpha Pino, first one's out, nickname around final turn, turn 16. 16 turns around the GP section of the Nurburgring. The Nordschleife can see the green hell further back, just beyond those trees, not far into the pits. It's a good little gap here, everyone's starting to string out Mr. Mount. There's a bit of a slip, a bit of a gap, I think that's on the N2C cars. That's Paolo into the slipstream of Mr. Mount ahead. BBL Huber had a brilliant race yesterday in Division 3. He's filling on over at Try Drive again. And he's going to be coming through the Mercedes arena. A bit of lag going on for him. Gossau, that's someone I can hear spinning. Casey's had a bit of a shaky exit. We'd started the race before he left. So Casey very wide out of turn 5. Through the forward turn, up at the front, coming through Schumacher S. No nickname, Miss Alfapino, that's a nice looking Porsche. Mr. Mount, well, Paolo's not far behind Mr. Mount. Now this is where some problems, if Mr. Mount has a problem, that could collect Paolo. Both of the drivers in the Porsche quite a popular car so far this season. It's a nice looking car nonetheless, but do seem to get the liveries right. DBR Hardcore has been a bit, not been the loudest of people when it comes to on-track performance. He's there and thereabouts, keeps some solid points. Mamba Strike, he's going to be hoping to do well, but the benchmark lap time. No nickname around the final turn up towards the line. It's a 1:55.1. That's quite slow. Alfapino provisional pole. Mr. Mount, he's going to be next to set for the lap time, and Paolo's very close to the back. Mr. Mount, then Paolo. BBR Huber, he's next. It's going to be a slow lap time of 56. DBR Hardcore, Number Strike goes to the top with a 153.4. That's brilliant. Casey, he goes 6th. Gossau, next up towards Vline. He's looking very slow. Lack of power. And actually, he doesn't count that lap. Phil, he sets a 2-minute flat. That's got a lot of work. Honk. He's on his outlap. And into the pits goes Maisto again. So what's Maisto doing? Maisto's done 2 outlaps. Knock and Bolts, he's on an outlap. So he's coming up towards turn, 14 and 15. Yes, he left just before just after quali started. Sorry, then he joined back. And if you're gonna restart your PS4, say something in chat, because everyone was readied up when I started it. So it's really not my problem if I say ready and you're not ready. Say something. Mamba Strike Vote, provisional pole. With a 153.4 after the first round of laps, a few people may still yet set a lap. To note, Paolo Vo second, Mr. Mount third, no nickname, he's down in 5th. Casey, solid qualifying so far for him 6th. Maisto, he's don't know what he's doing. Hardcore, he's currently in 7th. Phil, he's 9th, sorry, and Huber is in 8th. Huber trying to carry the momentum he did yesterday in. Mamba Strike, he's very slow, so I think he's burning some fuel. He's going to continue. Paolo, is he going to be into the pits? Here he goes past the pit entry, and there's someone else. No nicknames into the pits then. Paolo maybe feels like he's improving. He's run 1.2 seconds to jump up. Everyone's into the pits then. Casey, Alfapino. No, sorry, not Casey. Huber's in as well, and Paolo, he's down, so he won't have time if he pits to then come out and set a lap, I don't think. So he's going to be really... He's going to be stump ticks of how long the lap is around the GP circuit to actually get a lap in. Gossau, he goes 9th. Maisto, he's on an out lap. He's still going. Phil improves into 10th with a 158. Maisto, I don't know what he's doing, but Paolo... Oh, Honk goes 9th with a 157.2. Now Paolo, he didn't pit, so he's going to be on worn tyres now. So he won't. He's going to have to just go. He's just going to have to qualify. His qualifying will now be done on the worn tyres. Everyone's going to be going for 2 laps. Paolo's trying to go for more laps, but the more worn your tyres are, the less grip you have, and the slower your lap will be. So I don't think he will improve from 2nd, but Mamba Strike, he's into the pits. He'll be taking more fuel. Knock and Bolts, he improves, but stays outside the top 8. Maisto, the only guy you left to set a time, is into the pits again, so this will probably be his last stop. Is Maisto trying to challenge himself and go for a 1-lap challenge here? I can't quite understand what Maisto is doing. He's now pitted 3 laps in a row. He can't pit this next lap or he won't be able to get a lap and he'll be starting from the back. Maybe that's his plan. Maybe he wants to start from the back. Maybe he wants a challenge. Would be quite funny if he did. Paolo going through what we've nicknamed the Gunsteiner, or the Gunsteiner S. It's not really an S though, but it is turns 11 and 12. Up towards turn 14. Didn't know this until yesterday. It's actually Hatzenbachs, which if you know the Nordschleife itself, that is the first real named section. Hatzenbachs. Alpinovo clobbering his way quite sluggishly through the final chicane, trying to get some last heat into his tires as he approaches the final turn for his final flying lap, his final quali lap. Around the final turn he goes, when he's going to light it up over the curb, get a good amount of exit speed as possible. Now just time every gear shift perfectly, like a drag race, all the way down towards turn 1. You can see further back there's a bit of a train, there's Mr. Mount in there, one of the tri-drives, one of the BRTs. Well, actually, the tri-drive will be Huber. Mr. Mount's the other tri-drive, but he's not running a tri-drive livery. And then that would have been Phil further back as well. Casey, he's coming down the main straight with his BRT livery. Or his makeshift BRT. Provisional pole man, number 666, Mamba Strike. Coming up towards the final turn, the devil of Division 1. Is he going to upset the party of the UMF boys? Knock and Bolts up towards the line. He improves into 8th with a 156.7. Paolo on his worn tyres. He may get a slight bit faster with fuel, but as the tyres seem to counteract that with everyone on the lighter car as well. We've just with the same amount of fuel but fresher tyres, already 3 tenths down halfway through the lap. So Paolo, you could probably write him out. But Mr. Mount, he's improving a bit twitchy on exit of turn 9 as run up, sorry, of turn 8. As he runs up the Schumacher S now up towards the Goldsteiner curve. Or if you want to call it properly, turn 11. So we're hoping for a better qualifying than... Oh, he's off! I was about to say he's going to be hoping for a better qualifying than the Alpha Tauri of Yuki Tsunoda today in F1. Yep, I must say, 2-hour penalty. The penalty got reduced to a 30-second penalty. We got news on that. But as the clock is about to run out, then Paolo, he's coming up towards the final turn. There's one of the UMF boys, that's no nickname. He's coming around the final turn. So he's going to be... Is he going to be improving then? Let's see, where does he put him? He goes second. Paolo up towards the line. He doesn't improve, so no nickname improves. Alpha Pino does improve himself. Alpha Pino goes second. Mr. Mount goes third, drops no nickname down. BBR Huber improves into 7th. Phil further back. There's also Noffelhonk, he's quite slow. This lap's done. There's Casey having a bit of a tank slapper at the back. Up towards the line, does he improve? He does. Casey will stay 6th though. Here's who we need to be watching out for. The only one on a realistic flyer. It was a good lap there, I must say, by no nickname. And then he dropped himself down. Then he got dropped again up towards the Schumacher S then for Maisto. He's not set a lap time yet. He's been waiting. He's going to have to nail this one mistake and he'll be at the back of the grid, which would be an interesting prospect for the German at his home Grand Prix. Through turn 11 and 12. Doesn't quite get on the curve, but it does get the rotation nice. Cool. Sweeps in, bit of a late apex. Maximising the curb width. Don't want to get too far off and risk hitting the gravel, and then that's your lap gone. But this is the problem with waiting so long. Very wide through turn 13, then more than you want to be. You can... If you make a mistake, that's your qualifying done. 1 turn to go though for Maisto. Is it going to be pole or is it going to be Mamba Strike on pole? It's an interesting top 3. Mamba Strike, Alpha Pino, Mr. Mount, and then No Name. Where's Maisto going to come though? It's looking quick up towards the line. He goes 6th. Paolo's beating him. Maisto, a 155.3 knocks Casey down to 7th. Mamba Strike on pole then for round 5. Alpha Pino 2nd, Mr. Mount 3rd. That's a brilliant top 3, a unique top 3. And 3 different teams. There's a B&R. Oh, who is... Actually, who is Alpha Pino filling in for? OTR, I think. Oh, ORT. He's ORT with DBR Hardcore, isn't he? So the Div 3 man puts on the front row for Div 2, but Mamba Strike is on pole here at the Nurburgring, followed by the Div 3 championship leader of Alpha Pino. Mr. Mount had a good qualifying and puts himself in 5th. Puts himself in 3rd, 4th and 5th then. Alpha Pino, no nickname. Maisto with worst qualifying the season in 6th. Casey in 7th, hoping for a good start, and Hubert rounds out the top 8. Waiting for the lights to come on then. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights are on then. And we are racing at the Nurburgring. It's a very shaky start. Gossard at the back seems to get away well. Paolo's had an excellent launch. So has Nickname. But Mamba Strike leads down in towards turn 1. It's going to be very hectic. Paolo, you see further back, trying to go around the outside. Alpha Pino on the inside line. No Nickname trying to force everyone wide there. There's Hardcore going shaky at the back. Alpha Pino, though, holds 2nd. Mr. Mount 3rd. Paolo has a good start. No Nickname. Yes, that's Maisto going wide at the back. DBR Hardcore's got past Casey as they come through the Mercedes arena. Paolo the inside line, trying to defend. Then as No Nickname tries to go around the outside at turn 5. Holds on. That's brilliant move there by No Nickname at the start. DBR Hardcore's got himself up in 7th as we come down towards turn 5. Paolo in 5th, then starting 4th. But Mamba Strike, he leads from Alpha Pino and Mr. Mount. Further back, No Nickname, the highest of the UMFs. And then 3 Porsches in the top 5. Paolo PM for N2C. 5 different teams in the top 5 as Paolo down the inside at turn 8 Dunlop curve. He's going to get that move done. He's going to back No Nickname up into his teammate, but No Nickname's not done yet as he tries to go around. There's a bit of contact there at the back. Alpha Pino forces Mr. Mount onto the gravel as they come up through the Schumacher S's for the first time this race. Further back, Casey in 8th. Phil, he's in 10th. BBR Huber's fallen down. Casey, yeah, DBR So it's actually a brilliant start by Hardcore. He's actually gained 2 places as he's got past Huber as well. Phil's down in 10th, but Mamba Strike bridging a bit of a gap to Alpino and the Chaos ensues at the back. Mr. Mount under pressure from No Nickname, as No Nickname's going to have the inside line, and Maisto might fancy himself moving up as well. The UMF Corvettes trying to get their way through. It's going to be the Alpha Tauried, liveried, tri-drive Porsche then. Mr. Mount, as they come through turn 14 and 15, going to force No Nickname into the curb. He's going to hold on for now, down towards turn 16, though. He's going to have the inside line. No Nickname doesn't look for the move, going to focus on a move down at turn 1. So we end lap 1 then. Mamba Strike leads from Alpino. It's 2 Irishes in the top 3. Alpino and Paolo, as Paolo's got past Mr. Mount. As Mr. Mount's now under pressure from the UMF boys as we come down towards turn 1. No Nickname trying to go round the outside. There's Maisto under pressure from DBR Hardcore. They were saying they didn't like the track. Mr. Mount very wide. Maisto doesn't have the best of lines through there either, but this is backing themselves into DBR Hardcore, and even Huber's got himself into his train as E1's right wide through turn 3 as they come through turn 4 and 5 now. There's a bit of a gap then to Phil, and Knock and Bolts further back. Knock and Bolts under pressure from his American comrade of Gossau, and then Nofronkin last as we come down in towards the second sector. It's a solid start then so far, but championship leader Maisto is struggling a bit. He is under pressure. 3 Germans, No Nickname, Maisto and Hardcore. Their homegrown, or their home race, it's not a Grand Prix, but their home race, not had the best of starts. Huber looking for a move on to Casey as they come through the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Paolo's trying to bridge back out, 1.3 seconds. Mamba Strike's already pulling a solid gap. Paolo as well wants to keep himself in touch, but he doesn't want to fall into the traps of Mr. Mount, but Mr. Mount's already doing that. But Mr. Mount has also bridged himself a nice comfortable gap then. A nice-ish gap, 1.3 seconds, near enough out of slipstream range of the UMF boys behind. And this is going to be a great chance for Mamba Strike to close the gap to Maisto in the championship. Let's quickly try and load up the championship standings. It didn't work yesterday. The UMF boys, as they also approach the final chicane, are they looking for a move? No, they're probably going to keep it nice and clean. KC, so far, is trying to scrounge some points for BRT, but anything can happen up ahead. It's a very close battle. They would dearly love for some chaos to ensue. Mamba Striker 153.9, fastest lap so far. As Mr. Mount is putting pressure onto Paolo as we come down towards turn. Is he going to look for a move? He does. Is he going to go for it though? Mr. Mount's trying his best, but Paolo will shut the door. The championship standings then. Maisto has a 16-point lead to Mamba Strike. Rocketman's in 3rd, who's not racing today, and Paolo is in 4th. So Paolo will be gaining big time on Rocketman, who's not racing. Nofhong's not doing too well. BBR Huber's in 6th of the standings. Juice Realm, who's not racing full time anymore, he is down in 7th. But Maisto, so far Mamba Strike, as the way it stands, will be gaining 18 points, and Maisto will be getting 4. So that gap will come down to 2 points, and it will close right down, and it'll get interesting then if it does close down like that. Mamba Strike, as he comes through the bottom of the hill, through the hairpin, the lowest point of the track, so he'll climb uphill then through the Schumacher S. Side by side as we come through the Schumacher S, Paolo's going to be holding on to that position for now. It's not really good overtaking spot. Mr. Mount will just have to wait. No Nickname, in terms of the championship, No Nickname might have to let his UMF teammate go, as if it's seemingly like Maisto's the quicker driver. Let's just check the previous laps. No, Maisto is the slower of the drivers, but if it does help, come the end of it, if it finishes like this, No Nickname may have to let Maisto go, or this is the plan that Maisto will sit behind No Nickname and do a bit of fuel saving. BNR leads the team standings though, from Tri-Drive, 40 points for BNR, 38 for Tri-Drive. N2C, they're the wrong standings, they're not updated. Don't take my word for it then, I do apologise, I don't believe I'm looking at the right standings. Drinking game. Take shot when it says it's the hairpin's the slowest part to turn. The slowest part of the track. Hayden. Suck a fat one. I also said the lowest part, not slowest part. Said it's the lowest part of the track, because the slowest part's turn 1, not turn 8. Anyway, 2.2 seconds is a gap up front, then 2.7 seconds. 2 Irishmen on the podium. The Irish actually more successful than the Brits in GTEL. I'm quite upset with that. So far, though, No Nickname's bridging himself onto the back. He does have a half-second penalty, but he's bridging himself onto the back of this battle for third. And Maisto so far now, seemingly struggling a bit, as he's falling off the back of his teammate. If the standings are true, though, Mamba Strike would love to gain from this, as Mamba Strike would be gaining. Actually, I don't believe the standings have been updated because of what happened last race. Mount looking for a move through turn 11. Bit of a late ask there, and that's going to really back Mr. Mount into No Nickname now as we run up towards turn 14, the final chicane. There could be a bit of pressure. Mr. Mount. Porsche versus Porsche, it depends on the setup. Mr. Mount moves to the left-hand side, but in slipstream, obviously the Porsche is going to be better. There's Porsche on Porsche. You can see in the background there, No Nickname trying to find his way through as well. Paolo gets forced onto the curbing. He's going to put Mr. Mount. This is going to allow No Nickname to go through as well as they come through turn 16, and Meso's closing up as well. So Paolo forced onto the curb as No Nickname gets a bit of his penalty off and seems to park the bus. Paolo's going to have to hope for a good exit now, but it's really split himself from Mr. Mount in this battle for third. And now Maisto, I don't think we can see. That is, as we ride on board with Paolo as he runs down towards turn 1. Is he going to go for a move? He's going to try and go around the outside. He's trying to find a switchback, but there's a bit of a gap there. Is Paolo going to be able to pull it off? He's going to have the inside line through turn 2. Let's find out. Will Nickname hold on? Yes, Nickname will hold on for now. As Maisto, though, is on the back and Mr. Mount seemingly pulling away a bit. Further back, BBR Huber's into the points. As DBR Hardcore's had a bit of a mistake down the line. Whilst trying, let's have a quick look at who's on what tyres. Softs for Mamba Strike, softs for Alpino, softs for Mr. Mount, softs for No Nickname, softs for Paolo, softs for Maisto, softs for Casey, softs for Huber, softs for Hardcore, softs for Phil, mediums for Noffelhonk, mediums for Gossau, and then softs, mediums for Knock and Bolts, mediums for Noffelhonk, and softs for Gossau, and Gossau has damage. Anyway, so the two ends, Noffelhonk and Knock and Bolts on the softs. Oh, on the medium, sorry, everyone else on the softs. 3.1 seconds is the gap as we approach the 9-minute mark into this race, of this 60-minute race here around the Nurburgring. The squabbling behinds allowed Mr. Mount to slowly bridge the gap, almost pulling them out of the slipstream range. Paolo Pierre in a UMF sandwich. It's not so much I'd like to be in as they run up towards the final chicane, turn 14 and 15. That is Paolo under a lot of pressure. Again, don't want to make the same mistake he did last lap though, which allowed No Nickname to go through. Casey, 14.5 seconds off the lead, 16.5 seconds for BBR Hubers. See DBR Hardcore in the background as well. And depending on the strategy, could really depend on how everyone gains. Fuel-wise, let's have a look. Who's looking best on fuel? Maisto is absolutely saving his fuel here. So maybe Maisto then, using his brain here a bit. And like we suspected earlier, he was sitting in the back of his teammate, just saving fuel a bit, and using his teammate almost as a bit of a dummy. Casey, he's currently running 7th for BRT. This will score them 2 points, and there's some dearly needed points. They are currently last in the standings. They're really lacking points here, and also be a big motivation for Casey as he's yet to score points in Div 1 or 2, and that will definitely be a big momentum swing for him. DBR Hardcore 9th. Seems to be his favourite spot. He's never really there. He has a good start, but then he's just paced. He falls off a bit, and he's a there and thereabouts driver. Can never really snag points, but he's always about around there. Anyway, this midfield tussle from 4th to 6th is falling off a bit. As No Nickname's now pulling away, as Paolo is still under pressure from Maisto as they come through turn 12. Paolo's still in slipstream range of No Nickname though, but No Nickname's really trying to put his foot down and bridge the gap to Mr. Mount. So far, 3 different teams on the podium. We're 10 minutes in, or just over 10 minutes in, and wouldn't it be nice to see 3 different teams on the podium? We've got B&R, who've, since winning at Le Mans last season in Div 2, they've really had a momentum swing. And they've really started doing a lot more and showing up a lot more with Helix and stuff. Paolo, though, the N2C driver, Meso, the championship, he's going to try and go around the outside. Paolo's going to get a bit of his penalty off, but Meso's going to try and find a bit of a switch back and try and find the gap. Can't quite be done, though, as they come through the Mercedes arena. Bit twitch there from Paolo. So then, teams in the top 3. We've got a B&R, we've got an ORT, and then we have a tri-drive. Neither ORT or tri-drive actually have their liveries on, so 2-hour penalty for them. If you know, you know. Anyway, back to the racing. Maisto. Oh, sorry, no nickname. It feels weird to say that no nickname's actually the highest placed the UMF driver. No disrespect to him, but Maiso's just that good. Casey, no man's land, 7th. Falling off the back. Mama Strike has got a 1-second penalty now. Needs to watch the corner cuts, I must say. Alfa Pino doesn't have any penalty. Fuel comparison though. Mama Strike doing better than Paolo. Paolo may want to think of switching his strategy for a bit of maybe do a bit of fuel saving, maybe reduce the time lost in the pits. Mr. Mount, however, is doing a fine job on the fuel saving. He's got enough fuel. He's got the most out of the top 3 in his tank. Oh, what's happened there with Mr. Mount? He's off at the chicane. What happens is he comes down towards turn 14. Hits the chicane nicely, gets onto the curb. Oh, he went onto the curb and he got sideways and he just grazed the wall. So on exit of turn 15, that now puts Nickname onto the podium. He's currently running 3rd. So Mr. Mount then caught the grass on exit from 15 and now he's at the back of this battle for 3rd. But hope is not lost. Maybe he could actually have a better strategy if he can lock himself onto the back of Maisto and stop fuel saving a bit. But this is the man we need to be looking out for. Maisto, over half his fuel tank left. And if Maisto's ever going to be thinking about a 1-stop, now might be the time, as he's got enough fuel to really last him over that stint. But will his tyres hold up as we approach the 15-minute mark? Quarter of the way through the race. Maisto on the back of Paolo. Maybe Maisto is going for a 1-stop. Maybe that's why he's saving his fuel so much. It's interesting. Mr. Mount, 1.2 seconds off the back. So, if Paolo does hold him up a bit, Mr. Mount will be latching himself onto the back. But tri-drive, they're going to be gutted not to get a podium. They'd love to have got on a podium. They could have got it yesterday if Huber didn't get the damage he had. Really knocked him out of contention. Cam West, way too easy going past there, but it did seem like BBR Huber had the pace yesterday to get a podium in Division 3. It also seems like Mr. Mount has the pace to get a podium in Division 3, or in Division 2 here, as Mama Strike's the first to pit. So, is this a potential free stop for Mama Strike then? What is the B&R racer thinking? See the B&R mechanics in the COC liveries. Feels weird to say, but Alfa Pino though will take the lead of this race. And now, where will Mamba Strike come out? And what tyres will he put on as well? It's interesting. Mamba Strike's had a few weird strategies which you could say have cost him the race. Fuel goes into that car. Where will he come out though? Phil's coming around the final turn. Mamba Strike maybe safe from Phil. He goes on to the mediums then. Mamba Strike though comes out in 9th behind DBR Hardcore. So, what's he planning? Alfa Pino. Now he's got to think differently of how this race will pan out, because he might find himself running in the net lead depending on how that strategy plays out. It's really weird. I can't imagine why he would pit. Unless he is going for a free stop, which at the time, he probably is going for a free stop, but is it necessary? Did he take fuel as well? Here's something that we need to check out. He took fuel as well, so if you're going to do a free stop, right, here's what you do. You should have enough fuel up at 15 minutes to be about halfway. You don't refuel the tank. You just take tyres and you go. And then at the halfway mark, where you do your second stop, that's when you take your fuel. And then the third stop, you don't take any fuel. Or you take as much to make sure you'll be able to make it to the end. But you don't full tank it, so what's he planning? So Alpine may find himself in the net lead, but going off of pit stops, net lead technically is Mama Strike, but I can't imagine him holding that with the way it seems. Has Paolo made a mistake? No, I was just seeing because the time gap was going down quite quickly. The slipstream train though. No nickname, Paolo, sorry. Yes, no nickname, Paolo. Casey's into the pits as well. That's interesting to see what he might be going for. It's a bit deep there by Paolo. Mesto's trying to put Paolo under pressure. Mr. Mount, though, trying to take advantage of that for the try drive. That's Casey into the pits. Where's Casey going to come out? See the red-suited pit mechanics all run over to that BRT car. Tyres are not the best when it comes to tyres. The number 97 BRT fuel going into that car. No nickname, P2 so far. Alpino is bridging a bit of a gap. So Alpino is a quicker driver, but Mr. Mount's looking racy. He wants his P3 back after his mistake at the final chicane. He's Mr. Mount. If we can see, not the best. You can see Meso's eyeing up a gap onto Paolo further back. DBR Hardcore's got past. Mumstruck trying to get past DBR Hardcore, struggling slightly. Phil's got himself up into 9th, and now this is why you don't pit this early, because now Mumstruck's finding himself out in traffic. And he's seemingly struggling because DBR Hardcore is going to defend that place with his life, it seems. KC, he's come out in 11th on softs. So it'll be interesting to see what strategy he's going for as well. Alfa Pino leads then. 10 laps in, and we've got a nice little train for 6th. That's Mama Strike getting past DBR Hardcore, we can see there. Eventually made it through quite cleanly. BBR Huber, he's running in 6th so far. Into the pits then for the Brit as he gets a bit more of his penalty off. Now that's a roundabout. Paolo and Mr. Mount also into the pits. So is this where we're going to see then a big bunch of pit stops happen? Huber, Paolo, Mr. Mount, they are all in the pits. Fuel going in that N2C car. And who's got the most fuel? They're pretty much even. BR Huber has actually got the most. Mr. Mount's got the tiniest bit more. There's Phil into the pits as well with 28% left. As we are now around about that 28-minute mark. Away we go then. Mediums for Mr. Mount and Paolo. Where's Huber going to come out? Huber then. Huber's out on mediums. Phil, he's still waiting for him. So Huber, Paolo and Mount all on the mediums as well. Phil, fresh rubber goes onto that car. So everyone here now will be getting an undercut, and I think maybe Mr. Mount pitted as well to defend the undercut as Phil, he goes on to the mediums, and he's used both sets of tyres needed. Alfa Pino, no nickname, and Maisto, the top 3 then. Mamstrike's got himself into 4th, 25 seconds off the leader. So despite being in traffic for a slight bit, if I can stop lisping, gonna start talking like Jimmy Broadbent. I'm gonna live in a shed. I wouldn't mind being Jimmy Broadbent, though. Jimmy Broadbent's a legend. Into the pits then, Alfa Pino, as he goes a lap over what everyone else does. Where will the UMF boys go? No nickname. He continues, so he's going to try and go as long as possible. and Maisto almost definitely can one-stop, but Maisto has damage. No nickname doesn't, so Maisto's picked up damage somewhere as well, so as we saw yesterday with Huber, that's a big problem, and if he's going to one-stop, that's 8 minutes as well, he's losing out. So keep in mind, the undercut that Mr. Mount and Paolo have done, and Mr. Mount's actually jumped Paolo in the pits. So Mr. Mount, I can foresee with the undercut, him now getting himself back into third as DBR Hardcore pits from fourth, and Alpino 9% of his tank, he had red lighted it. Away he goes on the medium. So DBR Hardcore, where's he going to come out and see the nice Lithuanian liveried? The mechanic's waiting for him, knock and bolts in on the mediums. At the end of his first stint, he'll be going on the softs for the end. So knock and bolts, he's got 22% fuel, he's actually got a fair amount in. Away goes Hardcore. He's gone onto the softs, so Hardcore continues on the softs, and knock and bolts, he's still in the pits. Phil's in 10th. Knock and bolts dropped all the way to the back. That was a very long stop. But either way, he's onto the softs then, and that will be him doing 2 sets of softs to the end. Maisto's managed his tyres brilliantly compared to No Nickname, who's really struggling now, 8.5 seconds ahead of his teammate. So maybe Maisto's stood off someone, that's why the massive time gaps come on, because there was only a second between them last time we checked in before the pit stops. Maisto really should switch his strategy. He should use the fuel, go to a 2-stop, and use the extra fuel he's got to spend less time in the pits. Not keep going, as there's a 1.5 second penalty, as well as No Nickname comes into the pits. So he's maybe done off somewhere, but that damage he's picked up has also caused him, he loses so much time, especially down the straights, and there's a lot of flat out sections here. I mean, it really impacted BBR Huber yesterday, and it's probably having a similar impact to Maisto. Maisto could really be throwing the win away here. We've seen people go for 1-stops and it's really not worked. So Maisto may have to just rethink it, but he seems to definitely be committing. Down to pit straight, Alpino. He will stay net second. He's 13 seconds between Mamba Strike, where he's Mr. Nickname's coming out at, yeah. See, here's the point with how long No Nickname went for, and I don't know why he's gone as long as he did and then pit with everyone else. Letting them get 2 laps on you. The undercuts work so well. Mr. Mount's got himself into 4th. Paolo's got himself into 5th, so just imagine the gap that Maisto's going to find himself a long way off. No Nickname's gone on to softs, so we'll be doing mediums on the last stint as well, so No Nickname, whilst everyone else ahead of him is on the mediums, really got to maximise what he can do now. We've seen this done before, and no one really does it. People who do mediums on the 3rd stint, the final stint, seem to struggle a lot more. They just can't get the most out of the mediums they can't get the most out of the softs, sorry, compared to the mediums. The people running on the mediums can compare quite nicely to the people running on the softs, and it's really their downfall, I must say. No Nickname though. Right onto the back of Paolo. So he is going to be hoping that the softs he can maximise the softs to their full potential and have a bit of an advantage. He's tucked right into the 6th road through turn 13 up towards turn 14. He's going to look for a move. If he's going on to the softs, he can't stick behind. He has got to get going quite quickly here, but stuff like that's going to hold you up. You really need to make the most, because when you're on the mediums, everyone else is going to be on the softs, so you need to make the most of this stint. And so far, being cautious like that, tries to go down the inside at turn 16, won't be able to do it. And the more these two squabble, the more it's going to allow Mr. Mount to pull away. No Nickname back into the slipstream. Paolo defending quite nicely, squeezes him all the way to the right hand side and by the pit wall. Down the inside though, Nickname will have the inside line, but how will he match his braking point? Paolo's going to try to go around the outside, just can't quite do it around the hairpin. Maisto, that gap is coming down a long way, but Mamba Strike depending on what he's doing, Mamba Strike's now doing extreme fuel saving. So Mamba Strike pitted at 15 minutes in with 45 minutes to go. Hello, Wrestling Cock. So him going on to the mediums, maybe Mamba Strike's going for a 2-stop, and the way his fuel's looking so far, he may try and pit with 20 minutes to go, or around about that. We've seen BNR and Helix do a slot, and they'll probably pit about 25 minutes, and it's not the best idea. But maybe if he can try and take this in 30 minutes, pit with 15 minutes to go, maybe he could have a hand in it. Mesto, though, he's coming up towards the chicane. He's still yet to pit, and with this damage, Mamba Strike, fresher rubber, is really reeling him in. Let's compare their last laps. 3 seconds he gained last lap. That, when someone is getting 3 seconds, is it really worth the strategy that you're doing? But where we need to be really looking out for is where Mr. Mount will be when Mesto pits, and how will he jump him? Alpha Pino's in the eyesight of Mr. Mount, so second's not off the table either. No nickname though. With his penalty, how much is that penalty? It is a half a second slowdown. Excuse me, he's going to have to be careful. He has got to start catching, and so far he's holding on nicely. Mr. Mount's not letting him go away too much, and Mr. Mount does need to have some pace, or keep it a solid gap. The minute No Nickname really needs to start putting in consistent laps and quick laps, like we said, because we see people do the softs on this middle stint, and then they lose out massively when everyone else is on the... Or people who do the mediums on the final stint, they lose out massively to people who will then have softs on the final stint, and they just can't get the softs working on the middle stint compared to everyone else on the mediums. I don't know why, the pace difference isn't much, but it's down 2/10 through that first section, and now 1.6 seconds is the gap, and still going down as they come through turn 11 and 12. They've gone to Steiner Curve, as we've nicknamed it here over at GTEL. And will Mesto be in this lap, or will he pit? Looking at his fuel, he can go another lap, so if I can see him going again, but I can't see the point in why he would do that. Anyway, clobbering over the curbs of the final chicane up towards the line. Mesto around the final turn we go, and he missed it. Sorry, Mamba Strike's really reeled in Mesto. Down towards turn 1, looking at the tyre gap, looking at the damage as well. I mean, he's in the slipstream. The Aston Martin's got a lot more power in towards the turn. Mamba Strike can probably come from a long way back here. The BNR driver takes the wider line, 1.5 second penalty compared to a 1.2 second penalty as well. So both of them wielding hefty penalties, and Mamba Strike can't quite get his nose through. Mesto down towards turn 1. He's going to look for it at turn 3, trying to find his way through. He's going to have to go the long way around here. Tries a bit of a switchback. He will have the traction advantage. His tyres are so much better, and then Mesto red lights it. So we'll have to do a bit of fuel saving as well to make sure he makes it to the end. Mamba Strike round the outside. That was actually quite a popular overtaking spot yesterday. We actually saw a fair amount of action around the outside of turn 6. Mesto, though, still fighting it. He tries to go down the inside, but now the tyres will not hold on, and Mamba Strike into the lead on Mesto, and Mesto is a pit stop behind. And now we can actually see whereabouts Mesto will come out. Alpha Pino, he's 17 seconds back. Mesto can find himself coming out within near Casey, as Casey's drifting through turn 5. So depending on how long the pit stop goes on for, and Mesto was able to get a lot of his fuel saving done as well behind a teammate with No Nickname, and if he's hoping he comes out behind No Nickname, he's going to have to go for a short pit stop, but whilst they're at it, maybe he goes for a Reuben. If you don't know what the Reuben is, you'll look like you're going for a one-stop, and then you do a short 10 minutes stint and absolutely blitz the field. And maybe that's what Mesto's planning to do here on mediums. He's going again. Didn't Meso do this last week and it really didn't work? I'm confused. So Meso's still going. Now, if Meso was going to do a Ruben, you would start on the mediums, take them 30 laps, then you'd do a 10-minute stint on softs, and then you'll do a 20-minute. If you don't know what the Ruben is, what Ruben did, he did it Le Mans. It was the season finale, Le Mans in season 1 for Division 1, so the last race in Division 1 last season. He looked like he was going to go for a one-stop, took the fuel long enough, saved it enough, went 30 minutes, then he only took 10 minutes worth of fuel, and then when everyone else picked for their second stop at 20 minutes, he came in and then blitzed the field. It was quite a genius plan, I must say, and if Meso is going for that, with the new rules, you'd expect him to do it on the mediums, because in a lap, Mamba Strike's pulled away 3 seconds because he just doesn't seem to have the grip. Because if you look at the tyre deg's really going, and if he's really at risk of running out of fuel here, he's going to be fuel saving a lot. And he's going to come up behind Casey, it seems. Now, what is Meso doing? Mamba Strike, though. Sorry, not Mamba Strike. Mamba Strike's quite comfortable. Mr. Mount looking for a move down towards turn 11 on Alfa Pino, and you can see no nickname further back as well. Mr. Mount and Alfa Pino, I think there's been a mistake somewhere down the line. Alfa Pino's now got himself into 3rd, and Mr. Mount down in 4th, so he might have had a mistake as well. But crucially, no nickname down in 5th, so he's really been struggling. Up towards the pits then. Finally, in we come. He had run out of fuel as well. That is crucial. Mamba Strike. So, Meso had run out of fuel. Round turn 16. No nicknames trying to go around the outside of Mr. Mount. He won't get it. He will have to hold on. But down towards turn 1, Mr. Mount took into the slipstream of Alfa Pino. Porsche versus Porsche. Corvette, more straight line speed power. Weaving all over the track as Alfa Pino. Though Mr. Mount eyeing up a move. He's going to be defending the inside line whilst also looking for a move. No one's going to try to go around the outside. You can see Meso completely out of fuel. Mr. Mount into 3rd prematurely, or in 2nd, and now no nickname gets himself back on a switchback. Let's have a replay of that move. So let's ride on board then as we come down towards turn 1 then. Round the outside goes no nickname. That is an impressive spot to try and go around the outside, and he just gets the switchback onto the inside line. He has the power a lot better. There's a bit of a mistake there by Mr. Mount, it seems. It's almost like Mr. Mount let him through. But now nickname going to try and do the exact same to Alfa Pino and get himself through. Meso crucially comes out in 8th. Casey's up to 6th. No nickname round the outside with the better speed and power in that Corvette compared to the Porsche. Here's that move. Quite simply done. But later on in the stint, depending on how long he goes, these tyres are only 10 minutes old. He can find himself gaining a bit more than you would expect him to. But now, for the final long in the stint, now we may pit in the next 5 minutes and do what was on about with the Ruben, and do it slightly bit differently. But no matter what, he has got to have an absolutely flying stint on these softs, as his last stop will be onto the mediums. And if he doesn't take the mediums, he'll be disqualified. There's contact at the back. What's going on here? Alfa Pino and Mr. Mount barging rims on the Porsche, and Mr. Mount's going to cut the chicane quite substantially. He's going to send Alfa Pino off the track. That is not good sportsmanship there. Mr. Mount completely cutting the corner and then forcing Alfa Pino wide. Mr. Mount not getting a penalty either. Can we have a look at that again? Mr. Mount just, well, that was within track limits with how he bounced. I think he was within track limits, but that's definitely not on. I must say, now Alfa Pino's been backed up. Casey into the pits then. Quite an early stop. He's got to use both medium start. Might explain why he's in a bit earlier. Casey will fall out of the top 8, I think, and out of the points. But Meso then, he's going to have an absolute worldie of a race now to try and get himself into the points. He's 45 seconds off the lead. He's got to fuel save as well, remember. If he's going to the end, it seems. I don't know what else he would be doing. Mamba Strike. 16-second lead quite comfortably. No Nickname and Mr. Mount Alpha Pino after their little coming together. Their little battle has slowed down a bit, but the battle for the final podium spots nonetheless has slowed down. Be quiet, Brian. It's very fiddly on a keyboard, I must say. BBR Hubervo currently running in 6th. He's having a nice day, nice drive. He's enjoying life in that tri-drive car. Saves every race. I do love that tri-drive livery. I think it is one of the best, in my personal opinion, in the entire GTEL, not just the Division 2 or Division 3 grid. I do like it a lot. Designed by Hayden Clamper, everyone's favourite Canadian wannabe. No Nickname now, he's got some clean air. And now let's see if he can make a nickname for himself and put the foot down, get some clearance, and that's Alpha Pino gone. Was that a rage quit or was that a disconnect from Alpha Pino? Alpha Pino is filling in. He's not actually he's not a Div 2 driver, he's a Div 3 driver, but he would have liked to score some points for his team and have a solid result. But Mr. Mount might find himself getting a bit of a podium, and Paolo now might be looking at a spot on the podium. Mamba Strike would dearly love Maystow though not to score any points, as the final stops are now coming into play. BBR Cuba into the pits he comes then. Casey, where did he actually come out? He's on the medium, so he's done it. Nick's throttle's gone. Ah, that will explain it. So, who's yet to use what tyre? Gossau, he's yet to use both. Phil's used both. Phil's actually out of the pits. Knock and Bolts has used both. Hardcore, yet to use both. So, 13 drivers on the grid. 7, yet to use both. Maystow has. No Nickname hasn't, though. So, Mamba Strike, managing his fuel quite nicely. He'll be in soon. Ah, alright, that'll explain it. Mamba Strike, he managed his softs quite nicely. These have gone 25 minutes, and will he go into the pits now, or will he go for one more lap? One more lap, it seems, he goes past the pit entry. But wouldn't Mamba Strike love for Maystow not to score points here? So far, it's not looked the best for him, as if he is fuel saving and he does have to, if he has to stop again, or no matter what the circumstances are, the gap to Maystow and Huber, 20 seconds, no, 30 seconds, sorry, my bad, 30 seconds. So Maystow, oh, it is possible in 20 minutes, the way that his pace as well at the end, a 1:56 last lap, it is possible if there's 10 minutes, or there's probably about 10 laps, and if you can gain 3 seconds a lap, it is almost definitely possible. Mamba Strike red lighted it. In this lap then will be the call over at BNR. Mamba Strike, he's used both sets of tyres. Mr. Mount, he has. No Nickname hasn't. Paolo has. Maystow has. Hardcore hasn't. Case has. Huber has. Knock and Bolts has. Noffle Honk. No, I said Noffle Honk. I'm guessing Noffle Honked had, because yes, he started on the wrong tyre, or he started on the medium, so Noffles, add him to the list. Gossau's used both, I believe. Oh, Gossau's off. Very shaky there for the American. But he's on and he's got the mediums now as he's running dead last. 10 seconds behind Phil, who will be on the softs for his final stint. So in that little battle there, or potential battle, it is checkmate Phil. Gossau following blue flags quite nicely and letting Mr. Mount through quite cleanly. Props to Gossau for that, following them. Some of the best I've ever seen, actually, in terms of blue flags. I know it sounds weird, but blue flags, people don't want to lose as much time, but he was more than happy to sacrifice a second for the sake of the quicker driver. Race leaders into the pits then for his second stop, or second and final stop, going on to his third stint. And I must say, he has absolutely managed these softs of these mediums really well. Managed his fuel well. Minimise time loss, and Mr. Mount will follow through, and he'll be looking to get a bit of an undercut on Paolo as the penalty that might be coming his way. Well, he will have to almost definitely keep his foot down and hope he can pull a gap, but Paolo says no, you shall not pass. 2% gap, or 2% benefit onto Paolo, but it all depends how much fuel we're going to be taking. They don't have to full tank it, and if they do full tank it, well, that's their problem. Maisto into third, Mamba Strike into second, no nickname, he is the new race leader as Wise Mamba Strike full tanked it, I am confused. He showed he could fuel save enough. Paolo, he will be continuing, no nickname. He'll be in within the next 5 minutes, I can assure you. Mr. Mount's got it quite nicely, and he's Paolo. What's the gap between Paolo and Mr. Mount though? DBR Hardcore, I think he might have got himself through. DBR Hardcore and no nickname yet to use both sets of tyres, they could risk a disqualification. If not, or if they don't use both sets of tyres, they will be disqualified. Paolo, 4 seconds behind Hardcore. Mr. Mount actually in the pits has done quite nicely and gained enough time to Paolo. Mr. Mount so far, he's got 36 seconds to the leaders. He's going to have to put his foot down and maximise the undercut. He's also got to keep in mind no nickname is going to be on the mediums for the final stint as well, so keep that in mind. 17 minutes to go then. No nickname leads, yet to make his second pit stop, and we know he's got to pit again because he hasn't taken the mediums yet. If he doesn't, it will be a disqualification. Mamba Strike though, after putting a funky strategy which has worked out quite well. He's net race leader. Maisto, who's one stopping, is almost definitely going to be swallowed up by Mr. Mount, you'd expect, as he's definitely got to fuel save a fair amount here, and he's on the mediums as well, and they're more worn than Mr. Mount's soft, so Maisto may be looking at finishing about 5th here, but he's testing the one stop. I think we saw him try to do this last round, but it didn't work out because obviously Mercury will be run at the end of the season, as the race decided, my internet decided I don't want to work and cut itself off. Casey running next second, but down just behind him is BBR Huber into the pits then. DBR Hardcore, remember he's got to take the mediums. If he doesn't take the mediums, if there's a misclick on the tyres he puts on, well, penalties may be coming his way unless he goes into the pits and deals with it accordingly. So Casey will now move himself up into 6th, and if he can really put his foot down, Maisto, 25 seconds is the gap got to find. Maisto though, fastest or personal best for first sector, so far he's not doing too bad. He is having to put his foot down and bridge a gap. Mr. Mount though is closing down that gap. Casey knows if he can have his foot down and try and catch that look to be the mediums on Hardcore. Hardcore comes out, and if he can snag some points he'll be happy with that. Casey in 6th will be scoring 4 points. He'll be the most a BLT driver has scored so far, and it will be a nice benefit, nice tester here, Div 2 for Div 1 tomorrow. So the benefits of being a reserve driver as he gets all sorts of sideways then. BBR Huber increases his penalty 1.2 seconds. So if he does overtake Casey, he's then got to floor it and try and bridge a gap. Casey's gone on to mediums again after his pit stop. So did he feel like the tyres weren't working out for him? Huber all over the back of him. Maybe Casey wanted to run a bit longer. Huber though tried to find his way through, and Huber on the softs as well. Casey on the slower compound of tyre compared to Huber. Huber's looking quick, Huber's looking racy. It was a 158 for Casey last lap. He clearly had some mistakes, and Huber really trying to find his way through with a 155. 3 seconds faster than Casey last lap as they come down the hill through turn 12, as they head down towards turn 13 and then the chicane. It's going to be a prime of taking spot for Huber as he tugged into the slipstream off that Toyota. The Porsche, not known for his top speed, pulls out to the right hand side as he runs down towards turn 14. Is he going to brake a bit later? Is he going to go for it? No, he's just going to hold on nicely. Maybe wait for turn 1, the more comfortable overtaking spot. There's a mistake by Casey. Casey goes wide, and Huber's going to go down the inside. Then Casey's going to try and fight around the outside. It's going to be brilliant if he can pull it off. There's a bit of contact when that's Casey. Forced off, going to tuck back into the slipstream, but now Casey might be able to have the run. The Toyota's got more power in it than the well, sorry, than the Porsche, but it's not a long enough run. Only 900 meters to pit straight here at Nurburgring, and Huber will hold on, and he will be safe. Now, though, Huber's got to work on getting rid of that penalty, and then bridging the gap as well. So already at 9 tenths, he's got to find 3 more tenths, but he could also get down some of that penalty as well. Casey very wide through turn 5, maximising the track limits there, but if you look at the time gap, he's gaining now. Maisto being hunted down by Mr. Mount. Mr. Mount in his third GTL race hasn't finished either of them yet. He's disconnected from both. His internet holds up today. He's looking at his maiden podium. BBR Huber though, best finished in GTL was a 4th, which he set yesterday, and that's no nickname into the pits fan. So Mamstrike looking to take the race lead, but nickname going to be 12 minutes on the medium tyre. Will Mr. Mount have enough pace in older softs? He is the softer compound, but will he have it enough in him to close that gap down? Round the final turn, how's the undercut worked out from as well? No nicknames tyres weren't looking that good, so maybe Mr. Mount as well has had his foot down a bit with a big undercut, it seems, as well. Where's he going to come out? Nickname hasn't got to take much fuel. He's going to come out, but Mr. Mount's going to be out ahead, so fresher compound, but it's going to be fresher, but the harder compounds for no nickname. No nickname will round out everyone that needs to use 2 sets of tyres or 2 different compounds. Down towards turn 4 we go then. I think it's turn 4. The Nurburgring's weird with its corners. Either way, Mr. Mount into third then. 2.6 seconds is the gap, and we might have a nice little battle there for them to pull up. Huber's slowly bridging the gap to Casey, or pulling a gap to Casey. There's another mistake there by Casey. I don't know why Casey's gone onto the mediums. He's throwing potential valuable points. A points finish for BRT would be nice. That's what they need. But maybe if he was on the soft tyre, he would have done better. But if he was on the soft tyre, he would be able to defend better. But it's Casey drifting over turn 5. That's really not what you want to be doing. Maybe he felt there wasn't much grip, and even on the mediums though, which seemed quite fresh, he's not having much grip, so potentially struggling for grip, which would be unfortunate then for the Spanish/British driver. DBR Hardcore. He's currently running in 8th. He stays well within the track limits. Hello, Nick. Nothing Honk down in 9th. I blame the livery personally. The Italian livery I had last time out was really good, but gone quite simplistic. I've just seen a hashtag Danke Sabine logo, so nice little tribute then to the Queen of the Nordschleife. For an awful honk, I take back everything I've said. Up front though, 15 seconds of the gap between Maisto and Noffelhong, between Maisto and Mamstrike, but Mr. Mount under is going to be under a bit of pressure now then from Mr. Mount. Maisto, this one stop, 10 minutes to go. I don't know how he's going to be able to hold on. He's got enough fuel though. He has saved enough fuel to be able to do it flat out now, but his flat out in qualifying wasn't that good, it seems. Unlucky. Mr. Mount's going to have a lot better grip on the softs, fresher softs compared to Mr. Mount's worn mediums. Mr. Mount was going to be defending, Mason's going to be defending. Mr. Mount looks for a move down towards turn 6, coming through forward turn now. You can see a bit of a wider entry. Mr. Mount trying to maximise the exit speed he has as he runs down towards turn 8. The hairpins, brilliant overtaking spots are going to be side by side. Still inside line through the king. Mr. Mount round the outside is going to be forced off to stay on the track. I think he does for now. He's going to have a good run though up towards the Schumacher rest. There's not going to be an overtaking spot, but down towards turn 12 and, sorry, turn 11 and 12 is going to be a good chance there. Mr. Mount having to back off a bit. Can't follow someone up the Schumacher rest as well as you would like to expect. And Mr. Mount, he's just going to have to lay off a slight bit. Maybe look towards turn 1 next time round. BBR Huber, has he had a bit of a mistake? I think he may have, as that's Casey's having a bit of a squabble with as well. No, BBR Huber's getting the rest of his penalty gone, so Casey back in contention and in slipstream range for BBR Huber. BBR Huber was just getting rid of his penalty. So 2 tenths is the gap between these two. The battle for 6th will go on. Mr. Mount has to be mindful as well of the potential penalty, if protested, he will have. Down towards turn 1. No nickname covers that inside line. So we run down towards turn 1. Tucked right to the back there. Mr. Mount trying to find a bit of a gap. So now moves to the outside. They're going to try. Could have gone for a switchback there. It's a bit deep by Mesto. Won't be able to find it. There was a gap there that didn't really exist. But the more these two battle, the more they hold each other up. Oh, Mr. Mount tries to send it down towards turn 3. He's going to be inside line. He's going to have the power as well to try to squeeze Mesto one in towards turn 5. You know, I'm really going to look it up, because have I been calling turn 4 or turn 5? But Mr. Mount went comfortably through, and now he's got the clean area. Really, he's bridging a gap, and no nickname's not going to be far off his teammate either. So not the best then for the German. Oh, no, it's turn 4. My bad. This one I've got in. Oh, no, this is wrong. It is turn 4. I do apologise. I've been calling turn 4 turn 5 because the track map I had up yesterday is apparently wrong. So I do apologise to anyone I may have misinformed there. Anyway, back to the racing. No nickname chasing down his UMF teammate Mesto. But in the battle for the championship, as it seems like Mamstrike's going to be taking away the full 18 points. If I was no nickname, I would have a bit of team orders there, and I would keep behind Mesto. But maybe pull ahead and maybe give him a bit more of a pull. But Mesto's now saved up enough fuel, he can keep going. But the one mediums, they've gone a while. 6.5 minutes to go. Paolo might want to try and work to close that gap down as well. 7 seconds, you can see in the background that that black, blue and purple N2C livery. Mr. Mount trying to battle with Gossau, who I complimented earlier and praised earlier for his skills in terms of blue flags. Now seemingly holding Mr. Mount up a bit, causing a few problems. Don't think they're really intentional. And Mesto's actually going to suffer the same fate as Gossau onto the grass there. No nickname will be getting some time from his team event. 6 tenths left is the penalty, and 6 tenths is the gap between nickname and Mesto as they run down towards what's actually turn 7. I do apologise. Casey, he's nearly 4 seconds off the back then of Huber, as Huber's really putting his foot down. 2 solid races for him, I must say. He's running in 6th. He's 20 seconds to the good now, or near 30 seconds actually, behind Mesto, so Mesto won't be running out of fuel. Mesto's tyres won't be looking too good. Mesto's managed it well, but it's still not going to be good enough to get the result I'm guessing he would have liked. But so far, No Nickname seems to be just keeping himself behind his teammate. I don't think he'll go for the move, but No Nickname would enjoy a podium dearly. He's earned the podium. We don't really want to be seeing any team orders. It's on the cars. There's potential for it to happen. But Mesto makes a strategy, it doesn't work. No Nickname had the right strategy. No Nickname deserves the podium. He's driven better, he had the right strategy, calling maybe No Nickname. He's got the fresher tyres, he may be on the mediums, but he might be able to get his foot down and try and work to catch Mr. Mount ahead, but being stuck behind his teammate. Not doing him any favours, and it is backing himself up into Paolo as well, as Paolo is not far behind either as they run down towards turn 1. Four minutes to go, and anything can still happen here. Mistakes can go on, people can bottle it. We're human, it can happen. So don't say the results are done and done. 20 seconds of the gap of lead then, with 4 minutes to go for Mamstrike, followed by Mr. Mount, who may also find himself under a bit of a penalty. That's why No Nickname should be released by Mesto. Now Mr. Mount's got to try and bridge a 5-second gap. I'm not saying there will be a penalty. If it's protested, then looking at it, if you didn't get a penalty, he was probably within the track limits as the curb. If you do clobber the curb a bit, you can take a lot of curb through there, and if it's not about taking as much curb through there, then if he was slow on exit, well, that could minimise it, but depending on how much contact there was, depending on how much space was actually left, will depend on if there is a penalty, but Mr. Mount should keep that in mind and start really pulling for 5 seconds. So far, 3.7 seconds is the gap, but just to keep it go. No nickname, it's James. Please let Maisto through for the championship. 1.6 seconds is the penalty for Maisto, so Maisto may not find himself on the podium. If Mr. Mount does get a penalty, he'll have to really start working that one down. Two laps to go then for most of the drivers. Mamba Strike, he'll be on 2 laps to go. Even Casey might be the cut-off point there. BBR Huber though, he comes around the final turn. It's a solid day for him if he can get himself into. It's looking like he'll finish 6th unless he decides to have a nice spin, and then he'll fall down to 7th. It's unlikely, but still there is potential. BBR Huber, 4th yesterday, 6th today, solid points for him. Mr. Mount chasing his first podium here in GTEL in his 3rd race. He's not finished either of the prior 2, is through the Schumacher S there, through turn 9. Getting his tyres a bit dirty as he's trying to bridge a gap. He's got half a second, needs to find at the line, and maybe if No Nickname can get himself a penalty, that will do Mr. Mount dear favours, but it all depends on if it's protested or not. Mr. Mount may be hoping for one less lap though, as he's approaching near end fuel. He's approaching the red light zone, and I don't mean Amsterdam's no square zone. I'm on about the red light zone here in GTL, which you don't want to come across, as it's not quite pleasant. As it means you're about to run out of fuel, but I'll cross the line, you won't get the red light warning, which means there's 1 lap of fuel left. He's had a solid exit. He gets at the line though, so Mr. Mount may have to be cautious, but he may have it then. And if he's catching up to Phil Defar, you can see the lapped BRT car. Well, he will have a nice... he'll be able to save a bit of fuel in the slipstream there of Phil. But if there is a penalty for Mr. Mount, I can't see it being more than 5 seconds. But he's going to have to work and try and put his foot down and make sure that this 5-second gap won't close down. Or make sure he doesn't have 5-second comfort. I can't imagine if it is protested and he does get a penalty, it will be 10 seconds. But having that 5-second buffer will be nice. Maisto. Sorry, No Nickname. Well, Maisto, he's 1.6. He's got the 1.6 second penalty, and he's nearly a second back on his teammate. So No Nickname will be getting the jumpers. That's Mr. Mount gone again. Oh no, last lap. It's the last lap. 3 races in a row then was just... oh, that is cutting in Maisto in a lucky turn of events. There's Hardcore taking the checkered flag. But in a lucky turn of events then, well, what can I say? Mamba Strike getting a bit twitchy. Round the final turn then, Mamba Strike will enjoy this one. It was a brilliant strategy. He's been absolutely dominant. All 18 points for Mamba Strike. He will win at the Nurburgring. Congratulations, Mamba Strike, and it's another win for BNR. No Nickname will get promoted 2nd, quite luckily, in Maisto, after a strategy which some would say is questionable. Well, Maisto's not been the splendid star-studded day where he will just absolutely blitz the field with his pace. He will come across and actually... No! That... okay. No nickname will let Maisto through at the line. I have no words for that. I have no words. Austria 2003 was it, where Ferrari did it? That was nickname's that was nickname's second place. That was nickname deserves that second place. He had the best strategy. He had the better strategy. He had everything. And BBR Huber will actually move himself up into 5th. But Mr. Mount, you have to feel for him. He had half a lap to go and his internet will cut out for the 3rd time. But confirmation of the results then, that will be a bit shady. Mr. Mount will dodge a penalty, which he won't get a penalty. And a controversial end then, Mama Strike will win after a dominant performance, but the UMF boys, that's going to be a bit controversial. Letting them pass at the end, we're getting some Ferrari vibes from 2003, I believe it was. Paolo in 4th, BBR Huber in 5th. Casey, he has his best of the season, gets his first points of Season 2 in both Division 1 and 2 in 6th. He'll be taking 4 points home for the BRT team. DBR Hardcore, there's 2 DNFs ahead of him. He'll take 2nd, and Knock and Balls will get the last points. Just briefly, Novel Honk, Phil and Gossau round out the rest of it. Thank you all for watching. I've been Nin, and it's been a shady end to the race, and I will see you all tomorrow at 7 PM for Division 1 at the Nurburgring. Until then,